So up until this point, every single time that we've submitted the form, no matter whether we're using the action attribute to direct where it's going, the values of the form have been being put inside of a query parameter. And so this is okay in a basic example, but if we were, for example, building a login form, we might not want a user's username and password to be in the query parameter because anyone that's looking at our network traffic is going to be able to see that. And that's not ideal. So we're not going to actually build a user login form right now because we're going to just keep working with the example that we have, but we are going to use the same methodology, the same approach as if we were building a login form to change it and make this a little bit more secure and a little bit more traditional for forms. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to specify a method attribute. And so the method attribute, as you can see my autocorrect is showing, it tells us how the form should be submitted. In the past, we've been using get request to submit the form, but we want to change it up and use a post request. And so what this is going to do is instead of putting in the data inside of this user's name inside of the query parameter, we're going to send it and as part of the body of the post. So in order to do that, we need to come over here, and there's actually a library that we're going to need to use. So I'm going to Google npm body parser, and I'm going to go here, and we're going to see that body parser is what allows us in Express to look through the content of the body. So first, I'm going to go ahead and install this. So npm install body parser, and then let's go ahead and look. So here's an example of how we want to set up the body parser inside of Express. So remember, npm projects normally show you examples of how to use the library at the bottom. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to change this to const, and then we're going to use app.use. I'm going to pop this up over here, put it right there, and then we'll put that one in as well. And that's all we need to do. We really don't need to worry about this. This is just showing you an example of what was posted. But this was really the configuration that we needed. So now that we've plopped this in, let's jump back to the form. And so instead of posting our form to the destination, I actually want to post it to a new route. Let's call it destination 2. And so I'm going to go here. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to change that to destination 2. And we're actually going to reuse a template that we built before. So remember when we used the greet last time and we were able to grab the user's name from the query parameter? Well, we're going to do something very similar, except instead of doing rec.query.name, we're going to do rec.body.name. And so this body attribute is something that the body parser is adding, and what it's doing is it's looking through the body of the post request, and it's finding the payload body, and it's attaching it to the request object right here. And we also need to change this to post. And so what we should be expecting is that once I submit this form to the destination 2, Express is going to render our greet me template, and it's going to use the name that's passed in from body. And so I have to make this match our name from the form, which is user's name right here, user's name. So we have destination 2 post. Let's give it a try and let's see what happens. Oh, okay, I forgot to turn our server back on. All right, let's go ahead and do that. Server is running. Here we go. We are back. All right, Andre, and hopefully we see that this took us to destination 2 with nothing else in the query parameter, and it did in fact use Andre, which was the value inside of our text box, and it passed that into our greet template through the template variable user's name. So this is really important. Most of the forms that you use are going to take the form here where you're going to be using the method post instead, and also most of the time when you are fielding post requests on the back end, you will always need body parser. So this is a very important library that we introduced, and this is like the configuration, a simple configuration. There's a lot more specific details about how you might want to configure it inside of the documentation, but for just about everything, this is going to be good enough for us. So yeah, that's it. That was our example of using the post method of a form as well as an action. Let's just do one more quick example here just to make sure we have it. So I'm gonna put in bits of good here and submit form, and we see welcome bits of good with nothing in the query parameter. All right, that's it for today, guys. Great work. Y'all learned a lot about Express and handlebars, and now you are one step closer to being full-fledged web developers.